this series would go all the way to the final game as we load on for champions like Berjaya. Going to be on blue side once again with Alpha on red.
Looks like this is going to be the trend for Berjaya with the same bans. I'm guessing the next one would be Olaf if they're going to be doing the same thing for the past 2 games. Meanwhile, Alpha, again, they are always the team who would surprise you with their picks. And they evolve and they actually catch the teams off guard, and more so during the series. So for Berjaya, it's one of those mind games again. What is CatJug going to pick up again on the jungle to take off Alpha on towards this game?
They're going to get rid of that Olaf, so the bans pretty much are the same of what we saw. So Berjaya maybe are confident if that CatJug Kindred shows its face once again. We'll see here, though, is Alpha with the final ban. We usually see the Syndra getting banned out here. Or do we just see the Ezreal? So really trying to lock down K2, it seems, here with 3 marksman bans.
And that is the first time in a while we're not going to be seeing a Syndra, especially in an Alpha game. For Berjaya, though, we'll have to see. This is... If they do pick up the Mordekaiser, it's definitely a comfort pick for Ozzy, but they're going to be settling with the usual. It's going to be the set this time around.
Set once again getting locked in, and we see that hover for the Mordekaiser a couple times during this series, and it's not on the question for Ozzy to actually pick that up. It's actually his most played champion when it came to the spring double round robin, as well as something like a ridiculous 8 KDA on the champion. They have just decided not to pick it up, instead opt for the more popular set pickup. Which again could get flexed down toward that bot lane. I wasn't impressed with Chili's performance on it, but let's see here. Is it's going to be Alpha picking up the Varus and Nautilus once again? And do we see a bit of a change up here, or is Berjaya going to go ahead and lock in Agragas?
This still fits the playstyle of Enzo, definitely. I'm not going to believe that Jarvan lock-in just yet, unless it's going to be a fully interesting surprise. Meanwhile, though, Berjaya Dragon's still very brave to not opt for their AD carry just yet. Alpha can just most likely choose to either remove Misfortune once again, which would just put Berjaya Dragons in a very awkward position. And meanwhile, Mawan, though, this could be a Jace for Mawan.
Could be. We could also see it go up toward the top lane. Still not 100% locked in, but we'll see now where it decides to go on the map, as the answer here on the side of Alpha, they themselves might go ahead and pick up the Mordekaiser, likely for Rock in the top lane.
This is turning into such a speedy draft for Alpha and Berjaya. And again, we're at the second point of the banning phase, so Alpha can look into removing Misfortune and as well as Syndra. So Alpha so far has been, winning the draft and denying a lot away from the Dragons.
Yeah, because again, with K2 not locking in his AD carry likely, it's now forced the side of Berjaya to have to look at this pool a bit more, as the Syndra ban going to remain true as always. It doesn't seem like Assassin really wants to face that in the mid lane. The Zoe, though, going to be banned out here by Berjaya.
Yeah, removing that, a lot of respect again towards Assassin, but it's quite similar to CatJug. His champion pool is quite interesting to the point that sometimes he brings out the most random, I wouldn't say random, but not usually picked in competitive. So right now, Kassadin is open if Assassin wants to go that route, and Sylas is open if they want to sort of replicate what they did earlier in game number 2.
Kiana, though, going to be banned out here on the side of Alpha, and that is a respect ban over toward Mawan, who has played it. One of the only mid laners to play it within the PCS. It was a monster when it came to the roams, and this time around, it looks like Alpha don't wish to have that happen, especially to Atlan. He will be paired up with that Nautilus on that Varus, so he doesn't have a Kench to try and keep him super safe like we've always seen. But now, Sejuani going to be banned out, and for Alpha, what is their answer here? You still have to lock in CatJug's jungle, and you're also still likely looking at what Assassin's going to play in the mid lane.
Yep, and it's most likely either one of those things. Heavy dive for Assassin, or perhaps those utility on the Orianna or on that. Renekton, though, if they do lock that in, they are thinking about it, whether or not to lock in the jungle for CatJug at the time, and it seems to me that will be the choice.
All right, here with that Rek'Sai lock in, it's going to be CatJug being able to try and path aggressively. Now on the side of Berjaya, Do you go with this Misfortune? You're already showing a rather heavy AD comp, really relying on that Gragas to try and get some decent damage off, but no, opting in for the Jinx, which is actually a pocket pick for Alan.
Very true. This is going to be the first time we'll be seeing the Jinx. I'm actually very happy to see this. I was wondering whether or not K2 would opt for that pick just to try and match more late game damage and at least have that hyper carry on your team. And again, a lot of eggs are being put on towards K2's basket, but at least we'll see whether or not it's going to be a switcheroo or whether or not Mawan is still going to be playing on this Jace. For Alpha, who's your mid laner?
Well, Assassin has full reign of what he wishes to pick up. The Cassin's still available, but maybe he wants to go with this Corki, which is a bit of a change-up when it comes to Assassin. I don't think we've actually seen him play the Corki once during the split of PCS, so making a surprise pick once again here during their first playoff matchup against Berjaya.
Yeah, and Corki has been picked up several times before, I believe coming from either Mawan or Minji back in the Dragons as well. So with this said, again, Corki has been very 50-50, but at the same time, it works really, really well against the matchup with this Jace. So I assume, especially come level 6, Mawan will have a hard time when the full poke just comes into play.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of poke that's going to come out, especially from this Jace on the side of Berjaya. But like you mentioned, we could also see that lethality build out of the Varus once again from Atlan, and then him and Assassin on the Corki. Try and just poke out Berjaya the entire time. We'll have to see here. There is a bit of a timer with this Jinx where K2, as long as he's able to stay alive during these team fights, can become an absolute maniac. With that, get excited. We'll see. Loading onto the game, it's going to be our final game of this first playoff matchup between Alpha and Berjaya. Winner moves on around. The loser goes down the bracket.
Again, not an elimination just yet, but right now, this game will definitely be very important for both of these teams. And again, a switcheroo coming from Assassin with his first time on this Corki. And with that said, Catjug though, back at the Rek'Sai. Last time we've seen this picked up before was quite recent actually. It was against HQ. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out as well as Catjug didn't exactly didn't have the best ganks in the world. But for Berjaya though, they've lost their previous round. Let's see if they're able to keep K2 safe on this Jinx.
If anything, too, Enzo's kind of taken a page out of Catjug's book, as he's going to be running the Dark Harvest on the Gragas. The only other Gragas we've seen run that in PCS was Catjug. Catjug going to opt in for the Hail of Blades Rek'Sai instead of the Conqueror we see from time to time, as the Ward is going to spot out Berjaya as they were looking for a little bit of a late invade. Assassin also going to be running Hail of Blades.
Yep, and those for Catjug and Assassin that will be their take on towards this game in particular. Berjaya opted for an invade once more.
Looking for a very late invade. Rock, though, forced to flash away. Doesn't wish to actually try and contest this, as Catjug also nearby. It's going to be Ozzy at least trying to go toe-to-toe with him, but a nice little stall coming out here. Enzo should be able to secure the red buff. It's a successful invade, something we rarely see happen against Alpha.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around. It's usually Catjug paired up with Assassin just trying to dismantle or ruin the path of the enemy jungler. And now Catjug is getting a taste of his own medicine, and he's going to be a little bit thrown off at the first point of the game. But we'll have to see how this pans out.
With Enzo not pathing directly back into his jungle, that should allow Catjug to actually be able to at least trade red buff for red buff in the very end. So likely not going to get free buff, but as a Rek'Sai, it does feel not great getting slowed down early in your jungle.
Very true. And considering you're a Rek'Sai, you have good points of entry to get into the jungle of Berjaya without getting spotted out by the usual wards. And there is one right there by that Raptor, and as well as by the river.
You gotta be careful though, because with this successful invade, it has set up the perfect scenario once again for Berjaya, especially with Rock ending up using his flash already, as Enzo's already going to show himself. Rock's going, oh no, not again. Please, not again. I just want to play some League of Legends here, as Facebreaker is going to be used in the aggro. The claw is back. It's going to be first blood going on over to Ozzy as he's able to shield himself with the Haymaker.
like clockwork. And this happened back at game number 1, and with that, Ozzy managed to get the Haymaker to get more of that additional shield earlier, even using a flash, but flash has already been used, so at that point, Rock didn't have much of a choice. You get that rake in at least, but at the same time, the tower juggle and as well as how they got out of the fight was just really well planned.
So unfortunately, history does repeat itself, and Rock is going to be down in that top lane, and that's pretty much the exact start you're looking for on the side of Berjaya. It's how you end up taking game 1, looking to do the same here in game 3 as in mid lane. Assassin, it's going to be him getting targeted as Enzo is already all over the place here before the 5-minute mark as Kino tried to save him. It doesn't matter, and that's going to be now 2 kills in favor of Berjaya.
There was no vision actually on towards both river ends in the mid lane, so Assassin didn't really see this coming, especially if you've already baited out the Valkyrie, and that's the point you can't exactly escape. And that is exactly what happened. So Assassin wanted to get that trade in, therefore easy pickings for on Assassin.
And there you go. Unfortunately, it's going to be not the start they're looking for here on the side of Alpha, and now it kind of shifts a bit of Alpha's plan, especially with Assassin getting taken down early. He's going to be on this Corki that, again, is waiting to really just kind of hit that spike when you get your first, your Triforce into sometimes usually the rapid-fire cannon, so you can get that upfront burst. That gets delayed, and especially Mawon now on this Jace. We've seen the Jaces in PCS rip people apart if you're not careful.
And, on top side, Rock is just going to get punched down by Ozzy, even the wave shoving in favor. But Enzo, walking towards top.
Yeah, Enzo, he's, continuing his little bit of a... He set up his tent already, as poor Rock is not allowed to play League of Legends, it seems, as he is, again, forced to have to back off, and that's going to allow this minion wave to crash into the tower and really set this Mordekaiser behind.
Yeah, lots of waves being denied away from Rock, considering he doesn't even have teleport. Enzo also lurking around, timed the Krugs, so it's going to be a little bit of swapperoo of jungle for Cat Jug and Enzo, and just according to plan, in favor of the Dragons.
So there we go. Dragons pretty much still setting up for this perfect game they're looking for, as it's now only 1,000 gold lead, so Alpha do have room for opportunities. Kino's going to land a quick hook there onto Chili. Chili, those underneath the tower, and he's a Tom Kench, so he's going to be fine. This, though, we're seeing Catjug, what happens when he is shut down early, when he's not able to make an impact on the map right away from the jungle. He's on this Rek'Sai. He's going to wait probably until that level 6 and then maybe try and gank mid lane on Mawon or possibly K2, but you see Alpha are kind of, disabled when it comes to their ability to try and actually open up a game without catch-up.
Exactly, and when we look at the previous Alpha Esports, where they would rely on Plan A, which is early aggression. If that doesn't work, then they go Plan B, which is towards the late game. But so far, in terms of their success, they've really shined throughout the game if they get ahead early. Ozzy, though,
there we go. Enzo's up in that top lane. Showstopper is available as well. That will bring Rock over to safety. Ends up using the ultimate into the Haymaker. It will be a trade of kills, though, as it is going to be Rock getting a kill credit back, but still that top lane tower is going to get knocked upon here by Enzo. Catjug is able to secure the dragon, though, on the bot side of the map.
and with that, actually spotting out Mawon moving towards topside, which means this bot lane will be very vulnerable for a 4-man dive. And that is going to be the scary part. There's only so much Chili can do as the Kench to buy some time. But so far, as we see Catjug moving towards top, I suppose it will not be a dive.
I'm not looking for it, but it should be at least a tower plate over to Atlan, so he's going to get a little bit extra gold in his pocket. And for Alpha, this is the one benefit so far with all this pressure on the top side of the map coming out from Enzo. It has forced their bot lane on the side of the Dragons to play a little bit more defensively. That has given Atlan a small little CS lead, but still, it's a Jinx that's going to scale up into the later part of the game, so she's not necessarily looking to dominate over Avaris, but still, small advantages, you'll take it if you're on the side of Alpha.
Yep, and with that for Berjaya too, with Mawon in the mid lane on this Jace, which means Berjaya can rely on Mawon earlier on to see if they can get him snowballing. get him rolling. But on the other hand, though, Assassin has been dealing a huge chunk, or actually a decent chunk amount of damage from Mao1 to at least sort of repress that. And as well as you gotta fear Cat Jug's ganks for later on. But at the same time, Enzo has been doing a good job putting pressure at top side, so Cat Jug's pathing on where he wants to roam, or gank rather, is just being bothered by Enzo.
We see here Berjaya with that pressure in the top side of the map. They're going to go ahead, start up Shelly, the first Rift Herald of the game. Catjug over the wall, though, is going to spot this out. There's also Assassin, does have package available, so there is a possibility here that Alpha try and take a fight. Ozzy already using his Haymaker, but a beautiful engage coming out from Enzo on the Gragas is able to find the Corki and immediately take him down. Atlan going to rejoin onto the fight with the teleport, but unfortunately, he's just a Varus. Rock, though, able to find the first member of Berjaya. He's going to be left alone, though, and K2 picks up his first kill on the Jinx.
And with that, Mao1 is 2-0 right now, and first kill, looks like the Rocket is not going to be quite there for at least any sort of potential assassination towards Kino, but kills on the carries, then a Rift Herald.
Yeah, and this is just a great engage coming out from Enzo as well as Ozzy.
And Alpha did not see that coming. You see Berjaya and as well as Alpha walking back and forth a little bit, but at the same time, Enzo just get that initial pull on the trigger. Alpha did not see it coming, managed to eliminate Rock and as well as Assassin, and this is definitely not the start that Assassin wanted to be. Wanted to be on this Corki.
You know, if you're Assassin, he was eager. He really wanted to use that package. He really wanted to make a play happen. Unfortunately, Alpha, tools are just not there for them to really take any of these fights, it seems, at the moment, especially with Rock being put down so low early on in the game. He's still only sitting at just 40 CS at 10 minutes. That's 4 CS a minute here, Rock. That is a rough time, especially now that we've seen the lane swap come out from the Dragons and putting their bot lane into the top side.
And it seems to me Berjaya Dragons will be satisfied with it, with that deal for sure, considering that they're gonna funnel this goal towards K2 to just try and accelerate his growth as the AD carry, as not the only AD carry, but the hyper carry on this Jinx as well. So Alpha has to respect this threat at K2.
And Catjug, they got to make a play here right now if they want to try and shut down Mao1. Over the wall they shall go. There's going to be instantly the jump onto Assassin. They're trying to go for the juggle. A nice hook is there. And Assassin will be able to get out with his life as Kino tanks the tower on the exit. A nice dive coming out from Alpha.
Beautifully done!
Oh, flash coming out from Assassin. So the Corki will not have that summoner, as Enzo was able to at least threaten the Corki with the explosive cast.
Yeah, most likely wanting at least to get more stacks on your Dark Harvest at least, and maybe potentially get a kill off of Assassin, but unfortunately any sort of outplay.
Oh, it's going to be Chain of Corruption coming out immediately, and that's going to force now Ozzy to have to decide what he wants to do with the play. Unfortunately, though, Catjug is there, gets the knock up and gets the kill. Kench, though, going to be coming on over the wall, and in comes the Jinx as well. Gets the tag on Catjug, and that's going to force the Jinx to get excited. Going to have the attack speed buff as well. Atlan, though, able to get a decent amount of damage, and over the wall comes Assassin. He's able to find the kills. K2's taken down. Enzo, Rock going to join in on the party. In the Death Realm they go, as Rock is going to try and just separate Enzo from the rest of the fight. Atlan, though, unfortunately can't do much else on this Varus, as Enzo looking to path in possibly for the body slam. Doesn't have flash available. Going to force Rock to have to sidestep, and a beautiful snipe coming out from now on. Able to take down the Nautilus.
Beautifully done, coming from Enzo too. Managing to get at least a barrel to sort of shift force. But let's take a look at this first. With Ozzy wanting to get that slam on towards Atlan, unfortunately, you know, you have Catjug nearby, so that was a clean kill. This was actually such a prolonged fight.
Yeah, and unfortunately there, Catjug, he got tagged by the Zap, and that allowed K2 to pick up the kill with the help of the tower. Assassin, though, great to see him at least roam to try and answer this aggression, but it's just a non-stop pile-up, and he gets just taken out here by Mao1.
Yeah, considering the minions are also quite forward as well, so there's no one a tank for you when you want to go back and rejoin your teammates. This barrel is actually very key for Rock to shift towards the side and basically not able to block for Kino there on that snipe.
And with that, Mao1's able to pick up another 2 kills onto this Jace, has finished off his Ghost Blade and looking toward his second lethality item. Alpha will be able to at least answer with their first tower of the game, but still find themselves 1,000 gold down.
Yeah, and I think it has heavily contributed to top side, considering that was chunked out early, and Rock didn't have the best time of his life either. K2 actually also got early game plates for top side, and now it's being chunked down once again.
Yeah, no one's come up to answer this set at this point. Unfortunately, Rock can't do a whole lot as he's still sitting on his first components for an item, and that's now second tier tower in top lane taken. They're going to threat also a dive here, and that's so much turret plating that's been secured here by Berjaya, and they're looking to actually force Alpha off the tower if they're not careful here with another dive.
And good thing, Assassin and Atlan, they have really nice wave clear.
Atlan, he gets shoved on back. That's what they were looking for, and Chili picks up the kill.
It's like, welcome to the slam once again, and that was such a nice delivery just to remove the AD carry. And with that, I mentioned really good wave clear with Assassin and Atlan, but at that point, Assassin had to go back, and Atlan pushed a little bit forward, and now Alpha has to watch this Raptor area, and as well as other points for Enzo for entry.
And you gotta be questioning there on the side of Alpha. You just saw your second tier tower in top lane be taken, and look at that minimap. That top side is completely dark. You have no idea who could be lurking in the Raptors.
Exactly, and I think they were a little bit comfortable considering Rock was on his way down to path over that area. So Assassin does have the package.
Package is available, but there's not a whole lot of follow-up as you see Kino and them actually looking for a fight here on Aussie and end up getting the face breaker being used. Assassin coming on in. He just going to defy the fight though, and Catchug maybe looking for a knock-up. Flash War coming out from Rock, able to get the grasp down. Chili, though, eats up Mauon immediately. And now Rock in the 1v1 against the Ken should be able to take him down. The exhaust is going to be there. The shutdown goes on over to Atlan as he takes down the Jace, maybe a little too far forward. K2 almost able to secure the kill with the rocket. And in the end, Alpha still pressuring, but Enzo, a nice double body slam comes out. K2 gets excited, and that might be the nail in the coffin, but Jug able to answer back immediately on the Rek'Sai, and Atlan finds himself another kill.
What a back and forth. It all started once again at the Raptor area. We weren't even done yet as Alpha decided to siege this mid lane. And unfortunately, we saw how Kino had to fall during battle as he ate a lot of tower hits. But then, sneaky coming from Kajug. Let's take a look at this again. It was Assassin who wanted to get that flank, got that package just to try and divide the fight. Mauon forced to use a flash actually, but it was Rock with a key rake-in flash that threw Berjaya Dragons off guard, and you can see how Assassin wanted to snipe Mauon.
Yeah, and unfortunately there for the side of Berjaya, it was a lot of poke. K2 almost got the get excited off that one, but luckily for him, he was able to find himself another kill. And Enzo, he's been going mad on this Gragas, but finally we saw Catchug able to answer.
Yeah, it was Rock again, 2 times at this really long fight. Managed to rake in the carries. And they have to be careful about that, considering they're putting all their eggs on towards K2, especially on the latter stages. Mauon had a really nice early game lead, so he can definitely burst down the squishies, no problem. But at the same time, it's scary. You saw K2 fell in battle.
And now, with that, if they're able to take out the Jace early on during a fight, that's where a majority of this gold lead is currently lying on the side of Berjaya, as well as this set. So, Berjaya, instantly, they say, we don't care, we're going to go ahead, take second Rift Herald of the game, try and knock down more towers, looking to try and accelerate K2 as fast as possible as he looks to complete his second item.
And yeah, no contest whatsoever to take this Rift Herald. Meanwhile, though, Leandri's already completed for Rock. Triforce, that's a good spike for Assassin as well. All teleports will be online soon for the side of Alpha, so they can definitely catch Berjaya off guard once they decide to either fight in the enemy jungle or just bait something out from the dragons.
We see Assassin in his natural habitat in the side lane, looking to push away. Has finished off that Triforce on the Corki, so if he's left alone with the tower, he can take him down decently fast. Alpha, though, going to continue clearing out the mid lane as we do have Cloud Soul on the map. So we'll see whether or not Alpha look to try and rotate toward the Dragon and pick up their second one of the game.
Yep, and earlier on in the previous fight, or rather the previous game, Alpha Esports got complete Dragons. And for the Berjaya Dragons, though, their priority has been more on towards that Rift Herald to take on these towers earlier on, and it has been paying off well. But the fight so far has been very back and forth, a few pickoffs here and there. For the Dragons, at least they have some sort of late game security in the form of the Jinx. For Alpha, eventually Corki will fall off, but with Atlan on your side, that's going to be a little bit of good news at least.
Yeah, for Atlan, he's now finished off his second lethality item. Also picked up a pickaxe, so this Varus is going to start chunking pretty well. And for Alpha, if they're able to get a decent amount of poke, we talked about him and Assassin are going to be trying to be the ones that set up this fight. As ooh, sneaky little barrel coming out there from Enzo, but he's not able to get the smite as Catjug is able to secure Scuttle.
And with that, seeing Alpha, majority of them are on the top side. So Alpha Berjaya Dragons, ooh, nice, decent chunk of damage coming from Mawan. But wards are now sort of building towards this side, the blue side of Alpha at least. So that gives Ozzy a little bit of safety, and now they are able to open up more in the map.
Yeah, you kind of see for Alpha, they've kind of slowed down. They're not grouping as one together, and Berjaya are using this time to at least spread the map open and pick up more gold for themselves. And now Ozzy is going to add on to his already 2,000 gold lead over Rock with that tower and bot lane being taken out.
And even unleashing the Rift Herald for taking this mid lane, it's going to bait out Alpha for sure. Enzo looking for another opportunity. Ooh.
Allen again getting tagged there by a Shock Blast. You see Catjug looking for a flank on the Rek'Sai. Unfortunately for him, doesn't look like Alpha are going to pull the trigger on a fight. Shelly was already taken down anyway, so they don't lose that second tier tower in mid lane just yet. Just a little bit of pressure coming out here from Berjaya.
I'm a little bit worried about K2. Everyone is going home already. And with that said, after that wave being finished, it seems that K2 is going back.
Catjung is going to be a land shark for just a little longer there, but you can take a look for Berjaya. All your carries currently near the top of the gold ranking, only just behind Atlan, which is good at least for Alpha. He is going the more cheaper lethality build of the Varus, so he will hit his spikes a little faster than this Jinx, but when it comes to the team fight in particular now, the Runans has been finished by K2, so he's going to be able to apply so much rocket damage over the course of the fight that if Alpha are grouped together, he'll be able to just chain that, get the resets. They do at least take the first tier tower in mid lane.
Agreed. It's going to be very scary, and Alpha has to watch out for that. Considering that Enzo, again, has been making the plays either because of the cast or perhaps the body slam, and the key member to look out for is definitely Atlan. So if he gets caught out, at least for Assassin, he does have that Valkyrie for safety. For Atlan, you don't have anything to fall back to aside from your flash.
Well, look at here for Alpha, maybe wanting to try and find a dive, but fortunately they will get spotted out by this ward. They do at least secure Scuttle. Lots of vision from them toward the top side of the map, but meanwhile bot lane, Rock is again all alone with only that lone ward toward his left, trying to keep him safe as Berjaya are just going to go ahead and siphon out gold from Alpha's jungle.
Yeah, and it seems to be the exchange so far. Assassin is going to get that top side. There's a lot of coverage on the enemy jungle, for Berjaya's jungle rather, so Alpha can see this coming. Meanwhile, for the Dragons, what do they get in exchange? They were hoping to get at least bot side. Maybe a sneaky attack.
Looking to be a little careful here as Piercing Arrow not able to land on into any targets. Assassin, though, package in hand on this Corki. This is kind of the time where Alpha might decide to take a fight, but again, Atlan getting tagged out here by the Jace. Has to be careful, because if he's poked out before he can do anything, then unfortunately this Varus can't assist when it comes to these fights.
Indeed, and there's not a lot of sustain on the side of Alpha as well. So a quick burst coming from Berjaya Dragons will really hurt Atlan and Assassin. Considering, again, they're not at that point where you decide to build up defensive. In the meantime, Enzo does have his stopwatch already. 2 QSSs on the Dragon. So not a lot of options for Rock to choose key members of the Dragons to deny or send to the Death Realm.
Yeah, because even with that QSS tax, you still see the multiple members for Berjaya where they had these advantages early. They didn't really care. If anything, they were just even. Now they're going to be kind of ahead with Rock not being able to select them as targets when it comes to taking them to the Death Realm. as Berjaya are going to be the ones to start up the Drake. Meanwhile, top side, it is going to be Assassin pushing in on this Corki. Like we mentioned with that Triforce, able to take towers relatively fast if he's left on check, and it will be the trade of the Dragon for likely the second tier tower in top lane.
And, oh, Mawan getting a little bit too close against Assassin. No choice but to give this away. And the reason why Alpha Esports is very confident to try and just split push is mainly because, number one, they do have that triple teleport setup for Alpha, so they can just keep swapping in who's going to side split push, and as well as just threaten Berjaya for a potential collapse, just in case they want to pull the trigger somewhere. Catjug.
Catjug getting very aggressive here onto Mawan, not able to find the knockup. It is going to force out the flash, though, out of this Jace. So one key point of safety there for Mawan off the table for the next couple of minutes. A nice piercing arrow there onto K2, though. Allen's able to find a couple more of those. It'd be really good. Now on his third lethality item complete with the Edge of Night. Has a little bit of safety himself and able to eat up some of those shock blasts.
They have to concede this one now, as it is just one hit away. For Alpha, specifically Catjug, he's doing the lone wolf style again. You saw how he just wanted to eliminate Mawan, and there were no other teammates nearby, and he assumed that perhaps Berjaya also had a lot of the members scattered throughout the map. Are they going to cancel the ports? Looks like they don't spot this, as Ozzy will be the only one left alongside with Enzo in the Dragon Pit. Alpha says, okay, we're done waiting.
K2 gets himself to safety. They end up just taking Kino, though, with the showstopper. It's a split fight here at this point, though, but the main target is taken down as Atlan's going to be taken out. Catjug is able to take down the Jace in return. It's a 1-for-1, and man, if I'm Alpha, I'm counting my lucky stars, because K2 could have easily took off there if they weren't careful.
Nice response coming from K2 as well, with the flash for flash reaction.
Oh, Assassin, he held onto his flash for too long. He's going to get exhausted. He gets slow, trying to kite back, but no! Holding on to the summoner ends up costing him, and K2 gets himself another kill. Rock is also going to get caught out. It's going to be a barrel. Ozzy's going to finish off the fight as well. Berjaya are just picking apart the pieces of Alpha.
Catjug was all the way downwards, trying to get into the jungle of Berjaya Dragons, probably trying to see any sort of consolation prize. There was a rocket being flown towards the jungle. Let's take a look at this replay again. Unfortunately, the rake didn't work this time coming from Rock, so K2 was so safe all this time, and the setup from Ozzy being that frontliner worked really, really well. And unfortunately, they didn't back out further in towards their own lane. Assassin still stuck through, and therefore it was the zap just slowed down Assassin, opened up for a flash body slam, and at that point, after Valkyrie, after Flash, you don't have any choice of escape anymore.
I have to ask for Assassin, was it worth trying to save your summoner there? I'd have to say no, but ends up using it in the end and still gets taken out. Rock also, unfortunately not taking the safest route. Tried to cut through the jungle for a quick way home, and like that, it's going to be Berjaya finding themselves some extra kills, especially onto K2, who's now looking toward his third item to be complete here on the next back, and this Jinx is starting to get more and more scary. And you mentioned there with Catjug, he was trying to go for a flank. He got Mawan, but if he's not able to get anything else, this Rek'Sai kind of just sits there and watches everything take place. Yeah,
and it was more of the consolation prize that Catjug wanted to get, and maybe just choke on resources on Berjaya's jungle. Good amount of poke coming from Berjaya. I'm absolutely terrified for Alpha at the moment.
Trying to go 1-to-1 here with Enzo. Catches out the Gragas for a little longer. Not able to fully finish off the kill, as there's going to be a piercing arrow. Nicely onto Ozzy there, but ooh, Assassin almost gets taken out. Rocket also coming out from K2. Gets Assassin to safety, as again, they're going to try and contest this. Look at that. The play, I think, is to try and go in on top of Alpha, and oh my god, the damage. They just rain apart, and Atlan's going to get taken on down if the flash is available there for K2. Ends up getting himself to safety at least, but with that, Berjaya full control toward the Baron.
What a fight. I mean, I was scared for Ozzy at that point, but the plan was, it was quite tanky already, just to try and buy some time. Catjug will try to hero play. He's not near any of his fellow members.
I have to ask, what has Catjug been doing this game, as the past 2 minutes, we haven't seen him on the map anywhere. He's been always trying to go for a flank, but his team just gets taken apart immediately, and Unfortunately, we're seeing a play style that is very concerning to see out of CatJug. It has happened once during the regular season.
Yeah, and let's take a look at this replay again. Nicely done setup. Look at the damage coming from the Dragons, and basically you had K2 with cleanup duty, and the QSS will be used and therefore will not be available in the next few seconds. With Alpha, we're having a difficult time finding these opportunities, considering, again, the early game didn't really pan out so well for them.
Well, for Alpha, there was a window of opportunity that they did have. It felt like they could take these fights, but now I'm concerned, especially when you go into a choke point like this for a set. That is just gold right there if he's able to find a showstopper, but instead, Berjaya turn tail and go straight back toward the Dragon and claim their second Cloud Drake of the game.
And that's one Dragon closer for that Dragon Soul. And with Baron buff enabled for the Dragons, they will be more empowered to just attack the base of Alpha. And they've been winning all the fights they've started so far. And Zanya's actually completed for Enzo, so all of these flash body slam combos will be absolutely devastating. And again, CatJug really likes to be further away from the team.
It's scary though, like CatJug, he's also gone this semi-crit build as he picked up a Phantom Dancer. He's trying to be able to one-shot, you know, one of these squishy members like Maoan, like K2 if he's able to get into the back line, but unfortunately for the Rek'Sai, it doesn't feel all that great, especially when you start falling behind like this. You're not able to add anything to the team. It's CatJug against the world right now as he's going to go ahead and split push on toward the top side of the map. Kino looking for a hook, but if they lose a fight here on the side of Alpha, it could be lights out on their series as CatJug trying to make a quick play, trying to sneak away at the inhibitor. It'll be a trade 1-for-1, but Berjaya still holding forward.
Alpha has a lot of poke. They can try to clear out the waves, try to slow it down, and you can see Enzo making his way back already. Actually, Azzy, as he does have teleport.
Inhibitor was taken, so it's going to be 2 inhibitors for the price of 1 as CatJug is able to secure it. You saw Ozzy there, almost not able to back as it was almost interrupted by Atlin. Still though, Baron buff, 20 seconds until it expires, and Berjaya were able to crack open both inhibitors on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, meanwhile, CatJug has managed to really remove most of the jungle right now from Berjaya Dragons at that point and managed to split push as well. So with that, again, it's one of those things where we've seen CatJug do as, you know, that lone wolf play. Considering that there's 3 teleports on the side of Alpha and the one that doesn't have the teleport is split pushing. So for Alpha Esports, at least they do get an inhibitor after this, but at the same time, they have 2 lanes to worry about.
I'm almost concerned because now you see what the plan is from the side of Berjaya. They're going to go ahead and they say, cool, you took the inhibitor. Cool, we're just going to push it all the way back to your base and take your inhibitor. Is now there isn't really an opening here for Alpha if they wanted to try and go for a gutsy play. But with all this vision control down on the side of Berjaya, they're able to catch out CatJug. They know this Rek'Sai is nowhere nearby to try and answer this push.
And that's the thing. That's the reason why they're quite brave in entering towards this top side. And now we see CatJug rejoining his team now. So for Berjaya, they're a little bit worried. Still a lot of respect still, considering there is a ton of poke damage. Either you get poked out and you have to concede, or you just press that go button and engage.
Berjaya still 5 members strong toward the top side of the map. CatJug looking for a flank, sees multiple members, going to go ahead and try and take out this control ward. Shock Blast not going to connect here. Piercing Arrow is going to be lined up. K2 able to dodge away as they're going to wait for another minion wave to press in. But you do see that the side of Alpha are going to have to deal with mid lane and bot lane with double supers actually pouring in because of the delayed stack wave.
Yeah, Rock at the moment dealing with that wave, trying to stop them from climbing towards the base of Alpha. Meanwhile, again, really nice wave clear in combination of Atlin and Assassin on this Corki with the pokes. So this is going to be a little bit tough if Berjaya decides to take their time.
You still see, though, Alpha trying to get some decent poke off. Assassin, though, not able to get taken on down. Aussie trying to go for a flank here. CatJug does have his GA available. Alpha close to wanting to go for this fight, but again, they're only slowing the bleeding as Berjaya able to walk out to safety, not losing a single member.
Yeah, it looks like Berjaya Dragons is just going to opt for that Dragon Soul and reset, buy more items. And at this point, you saw how Ozzy almost got engaged upon by Rock but nicely done sidestep coming from Ozzy there. And with Alpha, their second chance, definitely, aside from waiting for the inhibitors to spawn, which is going to be quite tough considering it's not going to time well with the dragon spawn. So for Alpha, they have to set the wave properly to get that potential contest on the 4th dragon.
Well, even with that 4th dragon, it looks like Berjaya are happy just go ahead and set up toward the Baron that's going to be spawning here in about less than a minute. Inhibitors are going to be coming back online in about 90 seconds on both sides of the map. Some pings, though, coming out here, and even some question marks. Berjaya know now that Alpha were looking to set up for this Cloud Drake. Catdrug can take it down pretty fast as he's now finished off his GA, looking forward to his final item. I don't even want to know what he's going with. Maybe goes with a Death Dance to try and get a little bit of safety in this build, but it seems to be all in as Berjaya inside track toward Baron as it has spawned.
I was a little bit worried there for Catjug, but Assassin soloing right now this Dragon. He does have teleport, so that's going to be easy access. In terms of wards, there is something behind at least a red buff.
All right, here we go. 5,000 health on to the Baron. Catjug wants to go over the wall. Enzo still has his cast available. 3,200. Baron starting to regen. It's only being kept alive for a little bit longer. Assassin almost gets taken on down here. Uses his splash already. He's going to get caught out. And without the Corki, that could easily be game. Rock needs to find multiple members, but it isn't going to be enough as he goes into the back line. They shut down, though. They get K2. Atlan able to find his snipe with the piercing arrow. Rock is able to trade back multiple members, but guess what? They have to be careful now as Atlan is going to get taken down. It's the Tom Kench, though, is actually going to get interrupted, it looks like. Meanwhile, Baron up, not available. No one took the Baron, and it's going to be minions now crashing in onto the Nexus towers as Alpha are able to hold.
Okay, this is perfect timing. Inhibitors are going to be full on back at the base for Alpha, and that's going to be a good sign. You saw how squishy K2 is. Actually, QSS being used, it's not going to be enough. Even the desperate attempt of peel coming from Berjaya was not enough because you have poke that can pass through units, and that is the job for Atlan, and he did a great job.
And unfortunately, you saw there, that is rarely a situation that will work out in your favor where you're able to take that dragon without being punished. An Assassin there needs to take a safer approach other than going a beeline from the dragon.
Indeed, and that really hurt Alpha, considering that imagine if Assassin was safe this whole time. They are able to eliminate K2, which is definitely that reliable main damage dealer, especially that hyper carry coming into this fight. But Ozzy was huge at the beginning of this game, and now he's sitting comfortably at, you know, the usual combo that we see with this Bork and as well as this Cleaver, and at that point it's just really scary, especially for Atlan if he doesn't have enough peel.
Well, you saw there with Rock was able to get multiple members within his rake back as well as within his passive. He does have Leandri, so he does do a decent amount of damage. Catjug over toward the side, looking for a possible jump onto Enzo. Kino, whoo, almost went in for a ride. That's going to be Ozzy, though, immediately cleansing away. Rock, though, takes him into the death realm, trying to go for this 1v1. Set will be coming out of this in just a quick moment, and Rock is going to be the prime target. A nice body slam is going to connect. Rock, though, isn't taken down. They get on to the back line. Maon's going to get taken out. Alpha with a man advantage, and GA still available on the forest, now hunting down onto the chase. Catjug is able to tag Enzo. Does he pull the trigger to try and go flying on this Rek'Sai? It's going to be Rock going back to base, has the teleport, going to come back full health on this Mordekaiser. Chili's going to get taken out, and Alpha are able to hold on to this game and find 2 members of Berjaya.
And just right in time for the Baron as well. Alpha has been very smart with their positioning and as well being very patient, considering also all their inhibitors are back online. So that means they're going to be happy in taking on potential openings, and they managed to grab it, and Berjaya definitely got punished.
And with that, Alpha able to secure their first Baron of the game. It all starts here with the Chain of Corruption into Rock's ultimate.
Yeah, and Ozzy quite very forward, especially his target was Rock over here at the Death Realm. And with that said, this is actually pretty interesting. Again, Mawan had to dive in towards enemy line, so the focus was easy to try to burst him down. Now it's a 5v4 situation where Rock had teleport, so he can port back to base. And without you know, the proper positioning, HP as well, Berjaya Dragons had to concede this one.
Yeah, and you see, without Chili being that main front line for K2, unfortunately this Jinx has to stay so far back because the engage that can come out from Kino, as well as this Varus, now 19 to 15 in kills. Alpha with Baron buff in hand. And guess what? It's going to be our 7th Dragon of the game in just under a minute.
And that is going to be the prize, the Dragon Soul for later. So Berjaya and Alpha looking to take that one. Enzo is on a ward. So Alpha has learned from the previous experiences with Catjug split pushing at top side.
Oh, that's going to be the Kench actually coming out here. Mawan's waiting for him onto the other side. Catjug maybe getting caught out. That's actually a rocket already used. Catjug is going to get taken down. He ends up using his ultimate. He isn't able to trade back. And without the Rek'Sai, now they have lost the ability to take a smite for this upcoming dragon.
60 seconds. Whoa, K2!
Oh, he gets caught out there by the Chain of Corruption. Atlan, though, not able to pull the trigger on the Piercing Arrow. Ozzy has been able to find himself a flank on this set. Meanwhile, though, Inhibitor is going to be taken by the minions, so Catjug's death isn't in vain.
And with that said, that's still 30 seconds on the clock, more or less. So Alpha has to buy time for their jungler, has to buy time for Catjug. The problem, they can do it. They have a lot of poke. They're capable of doing so.
Oh, Enzo gets almost taken out there by Rock, does have Death Realm available. It's still 20 seconds on Catjug. How much is Alpha willing to lose if they don't take this Cloud Dragon? Another great piercing arrow onto Enzo. Forces the side of Berjaya to have to back off. They have to regroup, but still, another one getting lined up. K2 gets chunked out to half health. Assassin does have the Corki available, trying to go for this fight. Showstopper into the backline. Are they able to finally find it, though? Rock goes in with the Death Realm. The cast comes out. Assassin, though, able to survive, and Rock on the front line absolutely tears apart K2, and that is going to be 2 members taken on the side of Berjaya.
What a massive fight for Alpha. They managed to buy some time. That's going to be a teleport coming from Atlan.
Atlan, what's this teleport? Atlan's trying to go for the hero play. They don't need this. They can turn back onto the Cloud Drake. They could literally be doing anything else. Instead, though, they're going to go ahead and siege in on toward the top lane. It looks like the call from Alpha is they want to end the game via top lane. It's still 3 members of Berjaya looking to hold on. Atlan tries to go on forward. Chain of Corruption going to come on out. Kino going down low. It's going to be a golden Enzo. Rock, though, in the front line, just tearing them apart, able to just eat up so much damage. He gets knocked back, though, and that is the call from Alpha that could cost them everything, as once again Berjaya are able to hold on as they take the Inhibitor Tower as a consolidation prize. Teleport is available from Ozzy. He's going to take it off the cooldown from the death timer and try and go for this flank onto possibly Kino, but no, K2 finds the rocket. Atlan gets taken back. He goes into stasis. Catjug's going to try and do the same. Assassin has to watch as his team crumbles at this point, and he's going to get taken down, and it's the ace coming out from the side of Berjaya as Alpha fall to pieces.
And now that's a lot of death timers. That's going to be the ace for the Berjaya Dragons. This is an insane turnaround considering that Alpha won the previous fight by Dragon, and now K2 racing towards this mid lane.
And that was a call from Atlan, from Alpha, that did not need to be made. They tried to go for the 50-50 play, but it honestly looked like a 20-80, and it wasn't in their favor. Rock is going to try and hold on the best he can. Kino is coming back up in 9 seconds. If they can stagger the death timers, that's going to be game here for Berjaya. Rock wants to try and clear out the wave the best he can. K2 is going to get excited off this. His depth charge is going to come out immediately. Rock trying to jump in onto the back line as soon as possible. K2 kiting on back, has the QSS available, and with that, Berjaya are able to lock themselves in to the next round of playoffs.
What did I just watch? That was such a back and forth fight. And as you can see, Berjaya seems to be very happy, but at the same time very stressed after that victory. You know, that was so 50-50. Alpha had a choice to either keep it safe or end the game there and then, but I want to give props to Berjaya as well for defending well and buying some time before the rest of the members, until the rest of the members spawn back.
Yeah, and I have to ask Alpha, what was that call at the end? They could have turned tail, went for that Cloud Dragon. They could have set up for a Baron. They could have forced the hand of Berjaya to force them to lose out on objectives. They thought, though, they could try and end through the top lane. It was such a uncoordinated mess when you look back on that play, because Atlan teleported in, and then Rock was like, oh, I guess I'll teleport back in, too. That was, again, Alpha with victory in their hands, throwing it out the damn window.
3 members were pushing mid. There were, I believe, no, 2 members were pushing mid, and other 3 from Alpha were just wanting to knock on towards the base of Berjaya. And you can see at that time, perhaps they weren't on the same page. They wanted to end it there and then. And it's one of the questions in where, if I joined my team, if I went either to pushing mid instead, or gotten the dragon, or perhaps joined them in sieging towards the Nexus Tower, what could have ended? Would it end differently?
I have to ask. I think it would have if they just played it safe. Let's go ahead, though, and take a look at the play that ended up costing them everything.
Yeah, this is very calculated. So you try to bait it out. You have so many tools to stall with the Devour coming from the Kench, with the stopwatches as well coming from Berjaya Dragons, and they really lured Rock in. Therefore, again, this is the time where the death timers are just insanely punishing. And with that, you can tell Alpha was on a different page. And because of that, Ward, they were able to just deny any sort of safe retreat away from Alpha, and that was just beautiful.
Yeah, and with that, K2's able to run it right down the lane, picking up to get excited, but it didn't even matter, because at that point, the game was already over. Also picking up the shutdown, and for Alpha, they will now have to make their quest to the finals via the lower bracket, as Berjaya are going to go up against Machi tomorrow.
What I also love about the last few moments of the game, Berjaya Dragons didn't fully invest on, pushing towards the lane. They kept, Enzo in the base because of the minions already chomping down the Nexus Tower. And at that time, Rock had teleport. So they were also very wary of the potential reverse push, and therefore it solidified again their sure victory over against Alpha.
And for Alpha, back to the drawing board here. They do get a week's rest, though, for their matchup against J-Team, which they'll get a chance to swing at coming up next weekend. And then try, recalculate what they're going to try and do here when it comes to this game. Because, again, there was rash decision-making that ended up costing them everything. You saw so many opportunities. I'll give it to Atlan on this Varus, though. Whew! Damage total, 41,000. On the Varus, absolutely insane. He tried his damn hardest this final game.
Yeah, you can tell the desperate play as well. Before he fell into battle at that last fight when they wanted to retreat, he wanted to just fully charge his Q just to at least take away K2 to buy some time, not able to shred down towers and eliminating, the AD carry right off the bat. But that was wild. My emotions were in a roller coaster.
And with that, MVP is going to go on over to Enzo on the Gragas.
Yeah, job well done. Again, all of these entryways for a beautiful cast just to send Atlan towards his teammates. And that was just beautiful. And the early game ganks of the flash body slam just really caught the rest of the Alpha team. And with that said, well-deserved MVP, winning this very stressful series.
Yeah, that's actually both victories for Berjaya, going over to Enzo, the MVP. So a great performance to start off their playoffs. A bit of a chaotic one, like you mentioned, maybe a bit stressful. You saw the player cams near the end there. They were both kind of, woo, just having to be a bit calm overall. Unfortunately, though, for Alpha, one mistake too many, it seems, and that will throw them down into the losers bracket. Some highlights, though, from their team they can take away with this victory. And again, they have that week now to reset, to get themselves prepared when going up against J-Team.
And that's the thing. It seems to me they're quite versatile on what they want to do when it comes to the team. It's definitely not the usual, cat jug and as well as assassin combo. Atlan has been very, he was very felt towards the series, and I'm just looking forward for more of his Varus plays for sure, especially all of his key ults that enable any of these fights for the side of Alpha. Yeah,
so now for Berjaya, you can now look forward. You got to go look toward Machi, which is, again, a very intimidating opponent to take into consideration when you look toward this playoffs, as well as an opponent that they were not able to take a single game off during the double round robin. For Berjaya, they were able to 2-0 every other team below them in the standings, minus Liab, and that was the first game they actually ever dropped to Alpha was during this series.
Yeah, and it seems to me it's one of those things where perhaps the draft is something that they have to watch out for, considering that, again, K2 has been a very key member when it comes to these victories, and as well as, again, Enzo has been doing really, really well, despite, at least no matter what jungler he has been picking up, considering he played a lot of Rek'Sais during the initial points of the PCS.
Yeah, so now we get to take a quick step back, of course, and start looking toward our next matchup of the night, which of course is going to be Talon taking on Nova.
Yeah, the reason why I'm absolutely looking forward to this matchup is because, again, aside from Berjaya Dragons representing the former LSG region, we also have Nova Esports, and seeing as Resurgence and Liab didn't make it, so for sure the fans of the former LST region will be looking to pour their hearts on towards Nova Esports for sure.
Yeah, so if you're a fan of any of these teams, I don't know how, because I already have like a heart problem after watching that series, especially that final game. That was stressful as a viewer. I can't imagine what it was like as a player in that scenario. So overall, again, it's a congratulations over toward Berjaya. I don't know if we're going to have an MVP of the series. I think we're still waiting on production, so we'll let you guys know. You're still stuck with us, though, for the next couple minutes until we get that going. Some takeaways overall, like when you factor in playoffs, is for me, in my notes, when I look at Alpha, I saw Atlan, and I was like, you know what? Atlan, Kino, they're one of the least impactful bot lanes when it comes to the PCS, at least during this regular season. Now, though, during this playoff run, especially in this final game against Berjaya, and hell, even in Game 2, Kino was also a highlight for me on that Nautilus getting these fights going.
Very true. He has been very aggressive when it comes to using his flash just to get at least that reel in, to get that Q in, and it's actually very refreshing to see, because with everybody already shining in each of the lanes, and not only the usual like cat jug or assassin, then this is definitely a stronger team. And for Berjaya Dragons, they were absolutely close to losing that match, despite being pushing towards the inhibitors, eliminating 2 at mid and at bot. They almost lost that match, and with that, that's the reason why it's understandable with their reaction, having a big sigh of relief, or not even as like a single smile after winning that match.
Yeah, well, for us, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, though, it's going to be our second playoff series of the night. We're going to have Talon Esports taking on Nova Esports, so don't go anywhere, guys. PCS will resume after a short break.